Things have been a little quiet from HyperX on the microphone front lately, but today that's all changing. They're announcing the new DuoCast, which bridges the gap between the entry-level SoloCast and the more expensive QuadCast S. And the DuoCast features a sleek built-in shock mount, RGB light ring, and dual selectable polar patterns. And in addition to the DuoCast, HyperX is also announcing white colorways for the SoloCast and the QuadCast S. And we got our hands on the brand new $99 DuoCast, so let's dive in and check it out. Thanks for watching 9 to 5 Toys. Be sure to like, subscribe, and enable notifications with the bell icon so you don't miss any upcoming videos. Hey everyone, I'm Jordan with 9 to 5 Toys, and if you've been around this channel for a little while, then you know that I'm a pretty big fan of the SoloCast. I use it in a lot of these video reviews just because I really like the sound and the small size and how affordable it is as well. So when HyperX reached out with this new microphone that they were introducing with, this integrated low-profile shock mount and sitting kind of in between the SoloCast and the QuadCast S, I was really excited to check it out. So first off, let's take a look at the overall design of the DuoCast. While the SoloCast has more of a rounded and slightly egg-inspired capsule design, the DuoCast does look like a scaled-down version of the QuadCast line. The low-profile shock mount takes up much less visual space than the QuadCast, but still has the familiar tap-to-mute capacitive button on top, a multifunction dial on the back, it also has a headphone port, and a USB-C port for connecting to a computer on the back as well. The included stand is very reminiscent of the QuadCast. It doesn't hold the microphone very high, but it is easily removable, and it does have a little adapter to mount it on a boom arm, which I would highly recommend. There are some very cheap boom arms you can get on Amazon. We made a video about one you can check out up here. I feel like that is one of the best upgrades you can make to a kind of streaming, podcasting, creating microphone like this. And rather than the fully glowing pop filter here like the QuadCast S has, the DuoCast has the much smaller but still RGB controllable little LED ring down here, and that is customizable from within the HyperX Ingenuity app. At least that's what they say. I couldn't get the app to work in this pre-production thing, but it says it in the manual that you should be able to, and that's functionality that we've seen on the QuadCast S, so I guess I believe them when they say that that's customizable on here. And getting up and running with the DuoCast is very simple. It's plug and play, so you can just plug it in and you're good to go, but there are a few adjustments you can make. One of which is that there are two different polar patterns. There's cardioid and omnidirectional. And to swap between those two, you just need to push in this multifunction dial in the back. And the way you tell which mode it's in is the little LED ring will either go from a fully illuminated circle to a single point in the front, or it will expand to that circle. So when it comes to the point, that means that you're in the cardioid and it's just focused on what's in front of you. But if you push the button and it expands to the full circle, that means that you're in omnidirectional and it'll be picking up sound from all directions. And that dial can also be rotated as well, which will control the gain. And the LED light ring will kind of change, all the way from 0% all the way up to 100, and it will turn red at the top when you are getting close to 100% volume, so you can kind of dial it in to whatever you need. So of course those selectable polar patterns, that's the big difference between like the SoloCast, which only has the single polar pattern, cardioid, just going to pick up what's in front of you, and then the QuadCast S, which does have the 4 selectable polar patterns. So, depending on what you need or what you anticipate recording, you can kind of select which microphone might be best for your needs. All right, so you've got it set up, you've got it in cardioid mode, you got the gain set where you want it. How does the microphone sound? Well, we've been recording this entire video with it, so hopefully this has given you a good idea of what it sounds like. Of course, I'm recording, I'm not altering this audio at all. It's going straight into Audition and then straight into my Premiere Pro timeline. I'm not going to put any effects on it, any adjustments at all. This is all going to be raw out of the microphone. So hopefully this has given you a good idea of what it sounds like. And we'll do a direct comparison between the SoloCast and the Deity VO-7U, which is a dynamic USB streamer microphone as well here in a minute. But I wanted to kind of give some of my impressions from what I heard in my testing before that. So to me, the DuoCast, it seems to keep the highs a little bit more under control than what the SoloCast does. The SoloCast to me sounded a little more sibilant, so a little bit more aggressive and harsh on S's, kind of that hissing sound. Also, in combination with that, maybe it's just because the S's seem to be a little bit more subdued, but it seemed like the mids were maybe boosted a little bit as well. Now, I think that they both sound really good and they sound pretty similar, but those were the little subtle differences that I picked up in my testing. After the comparison, let me know down in the comments what you think. And then comparing it to the Deity VO-7U, which is a dynamic microphone, so you're meant to be much closer to it, I felt like the Deity picked up a little bit more kind of a full body to it, a little more presence, a little more character and depth, but it kind of lost some of the clarity that the DuoCast and the SoloCast have, so not maybe as much on the higher mids and highs. Those are my impressions. That's what I thought of it. Let me know what you think about it down in the comments below, and let's get started with the comparison. All right, so we will be comparing the DuoCast, the SoloCast, and the Deity VO-7U, and we're gonna read the same little excerpt of text and then also do a little typing on the keyboard and a little tapping on the desk to kind of see how it does with transferring impact noise into the microphone. Things have been a little quiet from HyperX on the microphone front lately, but today it's announcing the brand new DuoCast. Bridging the gap between the entry-level SoloCast and the more expensive QuadCast S, the DuoCast features a sleek built-in shock mount, RGB light ring, and dual selectable polar patterns. All right, and here we'll type on a keyboard a little bit. This is, of course, my very loud Razer Huntsman Mini with clicky optical switches. All right, and let's tap on the desk a little bit. Just want to see how it does with transferring sound into the microphone. All right, and now let's move on to the SoloCast. All right, so here we are recording on the SoloCast with the stock mount. And I'll read that same little bit. Things have been a little quiet from HyperX on the microphone front lately, but today it's announcing the brand new DuoCast. Bridging the gap between the entry-level SoloCast and the more expensive QuadCast S, the DuoCast features a sleek built-in shock mount, RGB light ring, and dual selectable polar patterns. All right, so now we'll type on the desk a little bit so you can hear how that sounds on the Razer. And we'll tap on the desk a little bit as well. All right, so now let's move over to the Deity VO-7U. All right, so with the Deity, this is a dynamic USB microphone, so you can get a lot closer to it. It also has a built-in limiter and some other cool features on here. And this little kit came with the boom arm, which I would highly recommend. All right, so we'll read that same little excerpt. Things have been a little quiet from HyperX on the microphone front lately, but today it's announcing the brand new DuoCast. Bridging the gap between the entry-level SoloCast and the more expensive QuadCast S, the DuoCast features a sleek built-in shock mount, RGB light ring, and dual selectable polar patterns. All right, and here we'll do a little typing on the same Razer keyboard. And we'll do a little tapping on the desk as well. All right, and that is the Deity. And if you want to hear how some other microphones sound in my SoloCast review, I did compare it to the QuadCast S, so you can check that out. I'll link that up here in the corner. So overall, wrapping up here, for $100, HyperX really has another great sounding microphone in their lineup. And it really does bridge the gap very well between the SoloCast, which is pretty bare bones, and the QuadCast S, which might be a little too much, with 4 polar patterns that you maybe don't need, with all that RGB lighting that you maybe don't need as well. So now it can be a little bit easier maybe to, pick the microphone that's exactly right for you. For me personally, with both the price and feature set, the SoloCast really does everything that I wanted to, especially with a couple of mods, which I'll link up to that video up here, adding a boom arm and adding a universal shock mount. The SoloCast, to me, is pretty, unbeatable for its price. I saw some people on Prime Day being able to get the whole kit. The microphone, a boom arm, and a shock mount for like 50 or 60 bucks, which is pretty killer deal. But if you want a little more functionality, you want to be able to switch to an omnidirectional polar pattern at some points, and you want to be able to control the gain, the built-in shock mount works really well on here on the DuoCast, I will say that. So a lot of great features in here. Hopefully we'll see it on sale. Obviously stay locked to 9to5toys.com because we're always posting the best deals every day. The SoloCast, now we're seeing on sale pretty frequently. That's probably going to happen with the DuoCast at some point as well. And that's going to do it for our review of the HyperX DuoCast. Let us know what you think about it. Let us know how it sounds, which microphone you would pick between that comparison. Let us know down in the comments below. And if you're looking for some other videos to watch, I'll link to our little video on how to make the HyperX SoloCast sound better, as well as our most recent video. And thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing. This is Jordan with 9to5 Toys.